after all the fights you've had, in awe of the fact that you do what you do. It's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get beat, but it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
When this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweight.
Jake Paul has reportedly announced his retirement from professional boxing following a devastating 6th-round knockout loss to former heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua in Miami. The fight not only ended in a brutal stoppage but also left Paul with a double broken jaw that required immediate surgery. At just 28 years old, Paul entered the bout as a high-profile crossover star, hoping to solidify his legitimacy within the professional boxing world. However, Joshua's crushing right hand abruptly ended those ambitions, delivering a decisive knockout that instantly raised serious questions about whether Jake Paul has a future in the sport at all.
I won 2 rounds,
for sure,
and then he won 2, and then I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there.
I can't really talk.
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but
Does it hurt?
it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
then-
plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
8 screws. 8 screws.
Wait, all right, I got plate in my head.
According to reports, Jake Paul has privately expressed that he is growing exhausted from absorbing heavy punishment inside the ring. Following the brutal knockout, speculation has intensified that he may be seriously considering retirement. During the bout, Paul was knocked down multiple times and ultimately suffered a double jaw fracture that required surgical repair. Facing one of the most accomplished heavyweights of the modern era exposed the physical toll of competing at such a level. The accumulation of punishment during this fight has reportedly forced Paul to reflect on whether continuing in boxing is worth the damage his body has endured.
From boxing, I'm getting hit in the face every single day while I could be playing soccer in Saudi. I'm friends with the Saudis / football. I was on the A team in 7th grade. I have a really good kick. I can run fast, and I'll knock out everyone that with us. Please give me ability.
Eddie Hearn, who had previously made the controversial prediction that this fight could potentially end Jake Paul's boxing career, struck a noticeably more serious tone in his post-fight comments. Reflecting on his earlier statement, Hearn said the outcome sadly proved his point. He explained that injuries like a broken jaw go far beyond pain alone. They are mentally and physically difficult to recover from, particularly for a fighter who is still developing at an elite level. Hearn noted that extended time away from sparring, the fear of re-injury, and the loss of rhythm and confidence can permanently alter a boxer's career trajectory. While he acknowledged Jake Paul's toughness and willingness to take risks, Hearn emphasized that boxing is unforgiving, and moments like this often force fighters to seriously reconsider whether the reward truly outweighs the risk.
Because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticise people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually.
UFC commentator and podcast host Joe Rogan offered a serious and cautionary response after Jake Paul was knocked out by Anthony Joshua and left with a double broken jaw. Rogan urged Paul to think deeply about the long-term consequences of continuing his boxing career. He emphasized that the punishment Paul absorbed, especially the heavy shots from a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua, comes with consequences that extend far beyond the immediate injury. Rogan warned that there is often a hidden price fighters pay later in life, including neurological and cognitive issues that many struggle with after retirement. He described the knockout punch Paul took as having the impact of multiple punches delivered at once, highlighting how rapidly damage can accumulate inside the ring. Rogan made it clear that his message was not limited to this one fight but served as a broader warning about the dangers of repeatedly competing at such a high level.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the time.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
knocked him
dead.
the fuck out,
and
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no.
Adding further controversy to an already chaotic moment, Jake Paul has also reportedly claimed that he is considering openly using steroids in the future. According to online chatter and second-hand accounts, Paul allegedly suggested that doing so would silence long-standing accusations that he has already been using performance-enhancing drugs. He reportedly implied that showing people the visible difference would prove that his past physique and performances were achieved naturally. Critics argue that such claims sound reckless and inflammatory, while supporters believe Paul is simply pushing back against years of speculation surrounding his physical transformation and punching power. Given boxing's strict anti-doping regulations and the severe penalties associated with PED use, many observers remain skeptical and caution against taking the claims seriously until Paul addresses it directly and publicly. For now, the statement remains unverified, adding yet another layer of controversy to an already turbulent period in his career.
That I snort, that I'm a cokehead. My rebuttal to that was, I'll tell you what, you can test me randomly for the next 5 years for if I can test you randomly for performance enhancing the next 2 years, and I never got a response on that.
This is why Jake Paul is on PEDs. Within this past year, Jake Paul has literally hit a second puberty and aged like 10 years. Furthermore, he has acne and his hairline is receding like crazy. And people like Jake Paul are going to the best skin doctors in the world and probably are taking hair loss products that aren't even approved for the rest of us. Now, I'm not saying that Jake Paul necessarily took a steroid to make him look bigger, but he's definitely taking something that allows him to recover faster. That way he's able to.
UFC legend Anderson Silva stepped forward to publicly defend Jake Paul following his high-profile loss to Anthony Joshua. Silva urged fans to show respect to Paul for having the courage to step into the ring with such a dangerous and accomplished opponent. He emphasized that Paul has proven he is willing to face legitimate challenges rather than simply padding his record. According to Silva, agreeing to fight a former heavyweight world champion alone deserves recognition from fight fans. He argued that critics who previously accused Paul of avoiding elite competition can no longer make that claim after he took on an opponent of Joshua's stature, regardless of the final outcome.
Respect him. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in the company, but it's because Jake, the people need to respect Jake, I mean, every single fight go inside the ring, everybody needs.
Anthony Joshua brutally broke Jake Paul's jaw during their heavyweight clash in Miami when a powerful right hand landed cleanly in the 6th round, forcing a knockdown that led directly to the knockout finish. The punch fractured Paul's jaw in 2 separate places, a severe injury that was immediately noticeable and later confirmed through Paul's own post-fight update. Following the bout, Paul was rushed to a hospital where surgeons performed surgery to repair the double fracture. 2 titanium plates were fitted on each side of his jaw, and several teeth were removed as part of the procedure. Paul later shared that the surgery went smoothly and that he would be restricted to a liquid-only diet for approximately a week during the early stages of recovery.
Ever
give a monkeys about what anyone says, because they sit at home, they're full of negativity. It's like the people that are negative towards someone like Jake Paul. Look at what he's done with his life. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it took AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, and then he knocked him spark out and broke his jaw. It was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual
Is that how
work.
you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back and work on with the team.
The brutal 6th-round knockout made one thing abundantly clear: the fight was real and not staged or scripted, despite online speculation from critics. Promoter Eddie Hearn directly shut down conspiracy theories, emphasizing that the bout was a fully sanctioned professional contest regulated by boxing authorities and tied to legal betting markets. He explained that any attempt to script such a fight would be illegal and virtually impossible. Hearn also pointed to the severity of Paul's double jaw fracture, an injury requiring surgical intervention, as undeniable proof that you do not fake injuries of that magnitude in a real fight.
Damn, son. Fuck me. How did Jake Paul actually remain conscious after that? And yeah, he got a broken jaw in 2 different places. And when they zoomed in on his mouth inside after the fight, a row of his teeth had just been dislodged into a whole nother fucking section of his mouth. Whatever you think of Jake Paul, surely that now puts an end to the fixed fight narrative. Like, his mouth is in bits. This was not a fixed fight. No matter how much you dislike it, it was what it was. So how did he do? Well, on the one hand, Jake fucking Paul, the YouTube guy who started by fighting Deji, getting in a ring with AJ is just impressive to start off with. He made it 6 rounds, and when he was getting hurt, he kept getting up, and he showed heart. You know, it probably would have been easy to stay down and not get your teeth shoved into your fucking back of your head. And a lot of people are saying, look, he lasted longer than Francis Ngannou, so that's something. But why did he last longer than Francis Ngannou? Obviously, I think we all know why. Francis Ngannou came into the ring with the belief he could win. He was trying to win from the first bell. Jake Paul was more trying to survive and hope that like a miracle happens in the fight sometime. And when you've got those completely different states of mind, it delivers completely different results, right? Francis is right there in front of you. He's trying to hurt you. He's committing. He's leaving openings because he's committing. The other guy is halfway across the fucking ring. And when one guy isn't wanting to engage, it's really hard to pin them down and hurt them, because they're not basically contributing to the sport. You know, we're supposed to be fighting each other, not, you know, you running away from me and me having to run after you. And we've seen this before in other boxing matches. It just makes it a very difficult night for the guy who's trying to be the aggressor, especially when you've got a ring that big and the guy.
Some fans have drawn controversial comparisons between Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou based on how long each lasted against Anthony Joshua. A viral social media post from Blonde MMA suggested that people were missing the bigger picture, arguing that Jake Paul lasted 6 rounds while Ngannou was stopped in just 2. According to these fans, this comparison implies that Paul may have been more durable against Joshua in that specific matchup. They argue that surviving 6 rounds, despite suffering a broken jaw, demonstrates resilience that exceeded expectations. While many strongly disagree with these conclusions, the comparisons highlight how Paul's longer survival time has fueled debate about durability and performance against elite-level boxers.
Reason why Jake Paul lasted longer than Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou came to fight. That's it. It was like Jake was stuck in 2020 the way he stayed 2 meters away from Joshua at all times. Jake was nowhere near Joshua's range. Nowhere near. Francis was very near. He came to box him. Jake just came in there to survive. That's all it was. He just wanted to see the end bell. He maybe land a lucky overhand right, which he did land a couple. Eventually, when the distance was closed, due to Jake not running, due to him being tired, boom, the knockout came. That's all it was. I don't want to hear people say, oh, he did better than Francis, because he didn't, because Francis was in boxing range, and Jake...
Alexander Usyk's manager, Sergey Lapin, described Joshua's performance as an important step forward in his comeback following a long layoff. He referred to the bout as a solid and confidence-building fight, suggesting it could lead to bigger matchups later in the year against top heavyweights such as Tyson Fury. Lappin acknowledged Jake Paul's courage, noting that he repeatedly rose after being knocked down and showed heart despite facing a significantly stronger professional puncher. He emphasized that Joshua's power ultimately proved decisive. Looking ahead, Lappin suggested that a Joshua vs. Fabio Wardley fight would be an exciting option and reiterated his belief that Joshua would defeat Fury if they meet next year. Regarding Usyk, Lappin confirmed that discussions are ongoing for a potential fight with Deontay Wilder, possibly around June or July, though no final details had been confirmed.
Here with Sergey Lappin. Sergey, Anthony Joshua stopping Jake Paul tonight. He had a message for Tyson Fury, greedy belly. What did you make of that?
Nice fight. Before 1 year, not work, not training, and now today this first step. Yes, maybe second step, one more opponent, one more fight, and maybe we see fight Fury and AJ in September, November. I don't know.
What did you think of Jake Paul's performance in there? He kept getting up, showed bravery. What did you make of Jake Paul?
For me, I like this guy good. This guy 5 years training boxing in have big heart. He stand up 3 times and stand up and fight. This not AJ punch very strong.
What about, obviously Usyk is no longer WBO champion. Could we see AJ and Fabio Wardley now?
This is good fight. I think this is good fight. Fabio, good boxer, good puncher. I think this is nice fight.
Lastly, Tyson Fury, if he fights Joshua next year, what happens?
I think AJ win.
Any update with Usyk Wilder?
We work, teamwork, working maybe June, July.
Where could that be? Here?
I think I don't know. Maybe USA, maybe Saudi. No, it's working.
Former world champion Carl Froch did not hold back when sharing his thoughts on the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua fight. He suggested that matchups like this have dragged boxing into what he described as a clown world. Froch has long criticized Joshua's decision to face a YouTube star rather than elite contenders, arguing that such fights damage the sport's credibility and even impact Joshua's legacy. While Froch did not explicitly label the fight a disgrace in direct quotes, his tone made it clear that he views celebrity crossover bouts as harmful to boxing's traditions, standards, and competitive integrity.
Got Jake Paul out of there, dropped him. I think he got stopped on his feet, counted out, knocked out, whatever, however you want to call it. It wasn't a bad knockout. It wasn't an El Sparko. He wasn't rendered unconscious, but he got done. He got it on the chin. He went over. He didn't beat the count. He was sort of up on his feet. But if I'm honest, the whole fight was terrible, wasn't it? It was just so bad. It was just shit, wasn't it? A proper bad fight for AJ. And let me start with AJ. AJ was following him around the ring a little bit, sort of pouring with the jab, putting the jab on the shoulder of Jake Paul, sort of putting him in the corner and not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. He didn't seem to be motivated to go in there and just smash Jake Paul into oblivion in the first 1 or 2 rounds, which I think he could have done. But he's been out the ring 15 months, a bit slow on his feet, a bit ring rust maybe, and it's hard. When I used to spar novice amateurs, even when I was a world champion pro, if you're not motivated, sometimes you can have a couple of bad rounds and you're sort of looking at your opponent and a jab hits you or right hand hits you. And I think AJ was in a bit of a daze early on, just walking him around, touching the jab on his shoulder, not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. Didn't look like he got out of first gear. Jake Paul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match. And I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, is a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just, AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage, but sometimes when...
What do you think? After that brutal knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, should Jake Paul retire from boxing, or is there still something left for him to prove inside the ring?